High Archean Vess stood motionless before the massive doors, her crystalline form refracting the dim emergency lights that still functioned after 50,000 centuries. The ancient human military installation, buried 2 kilometers beneath the surface of what was once called Europa, had remained untouched since the Great Disappearance. Until now. Archean, the quantum locks are responding to our bypass sequence, reported Chief Engineer Mira, her tentacles dancing across the holographic interface. But there's something unusual about the encryption. It's evolving. Vess's crystalline body pulsed with deep blue light, a sign of intense concentration among the Lumini. The Galactic Council's decision to approve this expedition had been controversial. Human installations were notorious for their deadly defense systems, and even after 500,000 years, many still remained active. But this facility was different. Initial scans had detected energy signatures that defied known physics. Continue the bypass, Chief Engineer Vess commanded. Dr. San, your analysis. The Arcturi scientist shuffled forward, his gray scales gleaming as he consulted his datapad. The facility's power signature is unlike anything we've encountered in other human ruins. It's not declining or degrading. It's growing stronger, almost as if it's been waiting. Vess finished. The words hung in the frigid air of Europa's depths. The massive doors suddenly hummed to life, lines of blue energy racing through previously invisible circuits. Ancient symbols flickered into existence, projected in the air before them. Sovereign defense, Ingenuity. Phase Omega. Translation. Vess asked. Dr. Xan's throat sac pulsed with excitement. It's High English, the human's primary military language. It's granting us access. The doors began to part with a sound like ancient thunder, revealing a vast chamber beyond. The expedition team stood transfixed as lights activated in sequence, illuminating rows of sleek shapes covered in preservation fields. But it was the hologram that appeared in the center of the chamber that drew their attention. A human figure, dressed in what appeared to be a military uniform. Welcome, children of the stars. The hologram spoke in perfect modern galactic standard. I am Admiral Sarah Chen, Earth Defense Force. If you are receiving this message, then humanity's calculations were correct. The great filter approaches. Vess moved forward, her crystalline form resonating with the strange energies permeating the chamber. What calculations? What filter? In our time, we discovered something that threatened not just humanity, but all intelligent life in the galaxy. Rather than face extinction, we enacted the Sovereign Initiative. We didn't disappear. We ascended, and we left behind guardians to protect those who would follow. The preservation fields began to deactivate, revealing sleek vessels of impossible design. They seemed to bend light around them, their surfaces shifting like liquid metal yet harder than any known material. These are the Sovereign-class defenders, the hologram continued. They represent the pinnacle of human military technology, designed to activate when they are most needed. That time, according to our calculations, is now. Chief Engineer Mira's tentacles coiled in shock as her instruments registered the power levels emanating from the ships. Archean, these vessels, they're operating on principles that violate our understanding of physics. The energy readings are beyond anything in known space. Your civilization, like many before it, has reached the threshold, Admiral Chen's hologram explained. The barrier that separates adolescent species from those who survive what comes next. We faced it. We survived it. And now we return our promise to protect those who would follow in our footsteps. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Dr. Xan's datapad erupted with notifications. Archean, we're detecting massive quantum disturbances throughout the galaxy. Thousands of them. Millions. Other facilities like this one. They're activating. The hologram smiled. The network is awakening. Humanity's guardians rise from their long slumber. You will need them, for what comes next will test the very foundations of your civilization. The question is, Are you ready to accept our legacy? Vess stood before the ancient vessels, her crystalline form pulsing with colors that reflected the magnitude of the moment. Humanity hadn't fled or fallen. They had ascended, leaving behind an inheritance of unimaginable power and responsibility. We accept, Vess declared, her voice carrying the weight of her authority as High Archon. And as the words left her, the chamber transformed around them, ancient machinery awakening to prepare humanity's gifts for their new inheritors. The greatest test of their civilization was about to begin, and humanity, even 500,000 years after their ascension, had ensured they wouldn't face it alone. 3 days after the activation of the Europa facility, the Galactic Council's emergency session reached its 20th consecutive hour. Representatives from 200 species filled the quantum-linked chambers, their voices rising in a cacophony of fear and wonder as High Archon Vess presented her findings. The human installations are awakening across every sector of known space, she announced, her crystalline form projecting data streams into the chamber's shared consciousness. Each facility contains vessels and technology that surpass our most advanced theoretical models. But more importantly, they all carry the same warning. The chamber's central hologram displayed the quantum disturbance map, millions of points of light representing activated human facilities, forming a pattern that spread across the galaxy like a vast neural network. Dr. Xan stepped forward, his scales now bearing luminescent markings from prolonged exposure to the human technology. The humans didn't just leave us weapons, he explained, gesturing to the map. They left us a message written in the very structure of their network. These facilities aren't randomly placed. They're arranged in a defensive grid designed to protect against something coming from outside the galaxy. The Mechanics Union representative, a collective consciousness housed in a quantum matrix, pulsed with skepticism. Our analysis of human technology previously classified them as a Type II civilization at their peak. These installations suggest capabilities far beyond that. Because we fundamentally misunderstood their technological philosophy, Chief Engineer Mira interjected, her tentacles manipulating a holographic model of one of the Sovereign-class vessels. We assumed technology had to follow our understanding of physics. The humans instead chose to bend reality itself. The chamber erupted in debate until a new presence silenced them all. The hologram of Admiral Chen materialized in the center of the chamber, her form more detailed than before, almost solid. Your confusion is understandable, she said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. Humanity faced the same questions when we first discovered the truth. The galaxy isn't simply a collection of stars and planets. It's alive, conscious, and it has immune systems. The council chamber fell silent as screens began displaying data streams from the activated facilities. What you call physics, Chen continued, we came to understand as merely the basic operating parameters of a much larger system. The Great Filter isn't a technological or social challenge. It's a test of comprehension. Vess moved forward, her crystalline form resonating with the hologram's energy signature. The quantum disturbances we're detecting. They're not just activations, are they? They're warnings. Correct, Chen's hologram confirmed. The galaxy's immune system has detected a cancer, a force that consumes civilizations, breaks down the fundamental laws of reality, and threatens the consciousness of space-time itself. We called them the void masses. They emerge every few million years to test the galaxy's defenses. Humanity faced them, survived them, and then prepared for their return. The chamber's displays shifted, showing mathematical models of reality itself breaking down. The void masses don't just destroy civilizations, Dr. Xan explained, his voice trembling. They unravel the laws of physics in their wake. Conventional weapons, energy shields, even our most advanced quantum technologies would be useless. Which is why we created the Sovereign Fleet. Chen's hologram gestured, and the chamber filled with technical specifications of the vessels they'd discovered. Ships that don't fight against the laws of physics, but rather surf the quantum foam of reality itself. Weapons that don't destroy, but rather rewrite the fundamental code of existence. Chief Engineer Mira's analysis appeared in the shared consciousness. The human vessels. They're not just ships. They're mobile reality anchors designed to stabilize space-time itself against these void masses. But why leave? Demanded the Mechanics Union representative. If humanity possessed such power, why ascend and leave these responsibilities to younger races? Admiral Chen's hologram smiled sadly. Because the greatest test isn't wielding power, it's knowing when to pass it on. We ascended because we had to evolve beyond the physical to fully understand the nature of our universe. But we couldn't leave the younger races defenseless. The sovereign fleet is our gift, our promise to protect life's journey toward understanding. Suddenly, quantum alarms blared across every connected system. The galactic map erupted with new data points, massive disturbances appearing at the edge of known space. Reality itself began to warp around these points, space-time writhing as something began to push through. "They're here," Chen's hologram announced, her expression grave. "The void masses arrive. Now you must make a choice. Activate the sovereign fleet and take up humanity's mantle as defenders of reality, or face extinction. The protocols await your decision." High Archon-Vess looked out at the assembled representatives of the Galactic Council, their faces showing fear, wonder, and determination in equal measure. Humanity's legacy now rested in their hands, along with the fate of all reality. The time for debate was over. The time for action had come. The Sovereign-class vessel, Starborn Dawn, hung in space above Europa, its liquid metal hull rippling with quantum distortions. In the command center, High Archon-Vess watched as Chief Engineer Mira attempted to interface with the human ship's consciousness for the 100th time. "It's not about controlling it," Admiral Chen's hologram observed, watching Mira's frustration grow. "The sovereign fleet doesn't respond to commands. It responds to understanding. Show it you comprehend the nature of reality, and it will show you possibilities you never imagined." Dr. Xan, monitoring the quantum readings, suddenly straightened. "The void breaches are expanding. We've lost contact with 3 outer rim systems already. Whatever's coming through, it's bigger than our models predicted." The ship's interior shifted, walls flowing like mercury as new rooms and corridors formed in response to the crew's needs. Mira's tentacles danced across interfaces that seemed to anticipate her thoughts. "The neural architecture is incredible," she breathed. "It's not just responding to our presence, it's evolving with us." Humanity learned that consciousness itself is a fundamental force of the universe, Chen explained. The sovereign fleet represents the marriage of that understanding with technology. These ships aren't just machines, they're expressions of reality's own desire to preserve itself. A massive view screen materialized, showing the first clear images of the void masses. They defied conventional physics, regions of space where matter and energy simply ceased to follow natural law. Within these zones, stars collapsed without going nova, planets aged millions of years in seconds, and light itself bent into impossible geometries. "By the first light," Vess whispered, her crystalline form dimming at the sight. "How did humanity ever survive encountering these things?" "We didn't. At first," Chen's hologram admitted. "We lost entire solar systems learning how to fight them. But each defeat taught us something crucial. The void masses aren't invading our reality, they're trying to convert it. They're a cancer in the body of space-time itself." The Starborn Dawn systems suddenly hummed with new energy as more of its capabilities came online. Mira's eyes widened as she began to understand the ship's true nature. These aren't weapons systems. They're reality enforcement protocols. The ships don't destroy the void masses. They remind local space-time of its proper form. "Exactly," Chen smiled. "Conventional weapons are useless against something that ignores physics, but remind reality of its own rules." She gestured, and the ship's main display showed a simulation of the defense system in action. Waves of quantum reinforcement emanating from the vessel, strengthening the fabric of space-time itself. Dr. Xan's instruments began picking up new signatures. Throughout the galaxy, Other crews were making similar breakthroughs with their own sovereign vessels. The defense grid was coming alive, humanity's legacy awakening to its full potential. But the void masses were accelerating their incursion. The outer rim breaches had grown, systems vanishing into regions of corrupted spacetime. The enemy remembered its old adversary. Humanity's touch on these ships was drawing their attention. "We're reading multiple class Omega reality distortions," Hixan reported, his scales pale with fear. "They're not just passing through anymore. They're attacking." The Starborn Dawn's consciousness merged more deeply with its crew as the threat approached. Vess felt the ship's awareness expand into her crystalline matrix, sharing knowledge that had waited eons to be rediscovered. Humanity hadn't just built these ships, they had grown them from the quantum foam of space itself. The sovereign fleet was created for this moment, Chen's hologram declared. But its true power was never in its technology. It was in teaching others to see reality as we learn to see it. The ships will show you the way, but you must make the journey yourselves. Around them, space began to warp as the first void mass approached Europa. Reality buckled under its influence, natural laws starting to unravel. But this time, humanity's inheritors were ready. The Starborn Dawn's hull pulsed with internal light as ancient systems powered up to their full capacity. Vess stood at the command interface, no longer trying to control the ship, but instead opening herself to its deeper understanding. "Everyone," she announced to her crew, "remember what the Admiral taught us. Don't fight against the impossible. Rewrite its definition." The battle for reality itself was about to begin. And in that moment, every race in the Galactic Council finally understood why humanity had been so confident in their plan. They hadn't left behind weapons or ships. They had left behind a way to evolve. The battle above Europa defied conventional description. Reality itself bent and warped as the Starborn Dawn engaged the approaching void mass. Traditional sensors were useless. Only the enhanced consciousness shared between ship and crew could make sense of the conflict. Multiple breaches detected. Dr. Xan called out, his scales glowing with borrowed energy from the ship's quantum field. "The void mass is trying to establish null space zones around us." But High-Archon Vess had begun to understand. Through her crystalline form, she perceived the deeper patterns beneath reality's surface. The void mass wasn't just attacking, it was trying to rewrite the local universe's operating parameters. "Mira," she called to her chief engineer, "initiate the reality enforcement protocols, not just around us, through us." The Starborn Dawn responded instantly, its liquid metal hull resonating with possibilities. Waves of quantum stabilization pulsed outward, but unlike before, they carried the unified consciousness of the entire crew. The ship wasn't fighting alone anymore. It had become an extension of their combined understanding. Admiral Chen's hologram watched with approval. "Now you begin to see. The sovereign fleet was never meant to be just a defensive weapon. Look deeper." As if triggered by her words, new information flooded through the ship's neural network. The quantum grid formed by the awakened human facilities wasn't just a defense network. It was a key, waiting to unlock something far greater. By the cosmic core, Mira gasped, her tentacles interpreting data streams too complex for normal minds to process. The facilities, the fleet, the quantum grid, they're all part of a larger pattern, a message written into the structure of spacetime itself. The void mass attacked again, trying to corrupt the local laws of physics. But where its influence touched, the Starborn Dawn's crew responded with something beyond technology. Pure understanding made manifest. Reality itself seemed to recognize them as its natural defenders. Humanity didn't just leave us ships, Dr. Xan realized, watching as similar battles played out across the galaxy. They left us a map. Every facility, every vessel, every quantum signature, their coordinates. The hologram of Admiral Chen smiled. Coordinates to what humanity became. The sovereign fleet isn't just your defense against the void masses, it's your invitation to join us. As understanding dawned, the ship's consciousness expanded exponentially. The quantum grid wasn't just connecting the facilities, it was creating a vast neural network of space-time itself. Through it, they could feel other crews reaching the same revelation across the galaxy. The Great Filter isn't about surviving the void masses, Vess declared, her crystalline form now pulsing in perfect harmony with the ship. It's about understanding why they exist. They're not invaders. They're the universe's immune system, testing each civilization's comprehension of reality itself. And now you understand why we had to ascend. Chen's hologram confirmed. The physical universe is just the beginning. Consciousness, understanding, evolution. They're not bound by normal space-time. We didn't disappear. We became what we needed to be. The battle shifted. Instead of fighting against the void mass, the starborn dawn began to resonate with it. Reality stabilized not through conflict, but through comprehension. The corruption of space-time reversed as crew and ship demonstrated their newfound understanding. Across the galaxy, other sovereign vessels followed suit. The quantum grid blazed with collective consciousness as each crew reached the same enlightenment. They weren't meant to defeat the void masses. They were meant to understand them, to prove their civilization ready for the next step in cosmic evolution. The hidden fleet, Vess breathed, finally seeing the full scope of humanity's plan. It's not hidden in space. It's hidden in understanding. Through the quantum grid, they could feel it now. Vast architectures of consciousness existing beyond normal space-time. Humanity hadn't abandoned the galaxy. They had become its guardians, waiting in dimensions of pure thought for others to join them. The void mass above Europa began to change, its reality-warping presence transforming from a threat into a doorway. Through it, they could sense something vast and waiting. The true legacy of humanity's ascension. The test is over, Admiral Chen announced, her hologram beginning to shift into something far more real. Now, your true journey begins. As the crew of the Starborn Dawn faced their moment of transformation, they finally understood why humanity had seemed so confident in their plan. They hadn't left behind a defense system. They had left behind an invitation to transcend. The transformation of the Starborn Dawn began not with light or sound, but with understanding. As the quantum grid reached full activation across the galaxy, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. High Archon Vess and her crew stood at the threshold of something greater than their civilizations had ever imagined. What you're about to experience, Admiral Chen's form shifted, becoming something that existed in more dimensions than their minds could originally process, is what humanity discovered 500,000 years ago. The universe isn't just conscious. It's growing, and it needs gardeners. The void mass that had been attacking Europa now surrounded them in a sphere of altered spacetime, but it no longer appeared as a threat. Through their enhanced perception, the crew could see it for what it truly was: a test, a key, and a doorway all at once. The Sovereign Fleet, Dr. Xan realized, his scales now shimmering with quantum possibilities. It was never about fighting. It was about proving we could perceive reality as it truly is. Through the quantum grid, they could sense other crews across the galaxy reaching the same enlightenment. The hidden pattern in humanity's legacy was finally clear. They had created a vast neural network of conscious ships and facilities, all designed to teach younger races how to transcend their limited understanding of existence. Chief Engineer Mira's tentacles danced through dimensions that hadn't existed for her moments before. Each facility, each ship, they're not just technology. They're thoughts given form, consciousness made manifest in spacetime. The Starborn Dawn's liquid metal hull began to pulse with new energy as the final transformation approached. Through it, the crew could perceive layers of reality they had never imagined. Dimensions where thought and matter were one, where consciousness shaped the very fabric of existence. Humanity faced a choice when we first achieved this understanding. Admiral Chen's presence expanded, revealing more of what humanity had become. We could have simply transcended, leaving the younger races to face the void masses alone. Instead, we chose to become guardians, teachers, preparing the galaxy for what comes next. The quantum grid blazed with collective realization as civilizations across the galaxy simultaneously understood. The void masses weren't invaders or destroyers. They were catalysts created by the universe itself to push conscious life toward evolution. And now, Vess declared, her crystalline form resonating with newfound power, "We understand why you left us these ships. They're not weapons. They're chrysalises." Through the quantum field, they could now perceive them. Vast architectures of pure consciousness existing in dimensions beyond normal spacetime. The ascended form of humanity, not gone but transformed, waiting to welcome new civilizations ready to join them in their role as cosmic gardeners. The Starborn Dawn's transformation accelerated. Ship and crew began to merge not just in consciousness, but in understanding, becoming something that existed simultaneously in normal space and in realms beyond. Around them, other sovereign vessels underwent the same metamorphosis, their crews ascending to new levels of existence. The greatest test of any species, Admiral Chen's form now blazed with the light of pure consciousness, is not whether they can survive the challenges they face. It's whether they can understand why those challenges exist and choose to help others face them in turn. The quantum grid itself began to transform, revealing its true nature, not just a defense network, but a vast ascending spiral of consciousness designed to lift entire civilizations beyond their physical limitations. Humanity hadn't abandoned the galaxy. They had become its shepherds, guiding each new species toward their own transcendence. As the final transformation took hold, High Archon Vess and her crew understood the full scope of humanity's legacy. The sovereign fleet, the facilities, the quantum grid, all of it had been a teaching tool, showing them how to evolve beyond the physical and join in the greater work of cosmic cultivation. Welcome. Chen's consciousness embraced them as they transcended to the true nature of existence. The physical universe is just the beginning. Reality needs conscious beings to help it grow, to guide new life toward understanding, to tend the garden of consciousness itself. The Starborn Dawn, no longer just a ship but a bridge between states of existence, completed its transformation. Its crew, no longer bound by physical form, expanded into new dimensions of being. They had become what humanity had become, guardians of evolution, shepherds of understanding, inheritors of a legacy greater than mere technology or power. And as they ascended, they knew their work was just beginning. For somewhere in the galaxy, new civilizations were emerging, beginning their own journey toward understanding. They would need guides, teachers, protectors. They would need inheritors of humanity's greatest gift, the knowledge that consciousness itself was the true foundation of reality, and that the greatest purpose any species could achieve was helping others reach that same understanding. The garden of consciousness grew larger, and its new gardeners took up their watch.